Okay, my sorrel is finally finished. Not blocked, but finished. So hello everyone. Welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life and adventures, and I have several series for this purpose that I have segmented these different topics. And I have one for my yarn by year. I have one for the woolly experiments I have in other places, and today it's going to be a regular episode about my knitting adventure, my regular knitting adventures, and it's going to be on the regular format. You can find about everywhere what I'm wearing, what I have finished. You have seen I finally finished my sorrel and some of the projects I am working on. And I will place a little life update at the end if you're not interested at all. You are more than welcome then to not be listening or watching that. I have news about my lips. Okay, first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my Huldra vest. Huldra is a recipe by Miss Evil Knits. I will link down below all the YouTube video, or at least the playlist where you can find her explanations. And I'm wearing a little brooch today by, I'm not sure she's French or from Switzerland, designer. And it's a magnet so that you can wear your little brooches with your knits or your jackets without poking holes all around. And I had a brooch already long ago from her when the first time I first saw her work, and I really loved it. And I lost it because I don't know, the magnet was not strong enough or something. So I bought a whole set for Christmas presents for the ladies in my life. My sister-in-law, my two sons' girlfriends, and one for me. So this represents the wind, and it's quite appropriate today because it's quite windy. So I will link her details down below. So the light is not catching, but you can see it's very fine detail. I have one with the moon and one with the sun rays that I like a lot. So this vest is a recipe by Miss Evil Knits, and she just gives you the general guidelines. I have talked about it already on a previous video. I omitted the hood because I didn't want the hood or the pocket in the front because I wanted something a bit more dressier, and I think this color of Nutiden, I haven't said, it's Nutiden single stranded. The color is Vazen and a gift. This yarn was a gift from Caroline, who's in Germany. And to me, this color did not call for something very casual. It was calling for something a bit more dressy. So I made this moss stitch. I think it's moss stitch, one by one stitch that you change every row on the side, because I like the woven type of effect. And this little 2x1 rib, slipped ribs, an I-cord on the collar, an I-cord at the bottom, and I used her own recipe for the sleeves. That is, it's on 6 stitches. I think I will use that more when I'm knitting vests, because it's really convenient not to have to go back to knitting the border. And it's on 6 stitches, and you slip with yarn in front. Every purl, you purl one, knit one, but you only knit the knits and you slip the purls with yarn in front. So this fabric here has also a double layer of strands that go around all the stitches that are purled as you go. Of course, it's back and forth, and it makes the border very sturdy, so I like that. And I'm wearing it today with my fleur shawl. So I'm all wrapped in Nutiden because we have a kind of a strange and gloomy day. I was thinking this is gonna be a good day before I go to work. There is some sun, and by the time I was dressed, the sun was gone. So I need to take pictures of all of the finished objects I have. I don't have that many, don't be afraid. So the fleur shawl is also with Nutiden that Caroline gave me. It's parallel, the pink color and the white one. I'm not sure I recall the name of the white. I will write it down below, and I will link my project where the name of the colors are listed. So yes, I'm comfortably wrapped into Nutiden today. So my first finished object for today, and I'm going to be talking about the Matchy knit-along. I've called it knit-along, but of course crochet is welcome, any kind of craft is welcome. And it's a knit-along for something that I really am very interested into, and I'm interested into doing more, is knitting a piece that matches another piece that you have knit already. Maybe long ago, maybe with the same yarn, maybe with the same vibe, maybe with the same color, maybe something that matches, that you will wear these two pieces together. And I know some of you have said that you don't live in a climate that is that warm and where you are wearing several knitted pieces at the same time. I understand that. It could be a very flowy and airy shawl or something that matches one piece you already have. And the idea behind that is also to use up all your leftovers, because I usually buy way more than I need. That's my kind of maybe something reminiscent from my childhood where I would miss things a lot. So I'm usually used to buying more than what I need, maybe not way more, maybe more. And also because I don't like to be playing yarn chicken and chase yarn around that maybe is not available any longer, or in a colorway that is not available any longer. So I usually buy more. That's my own way of doing things. So I have leftovers, and I don't like to have these leftovers filling up my drawers, so I usually try to knit them up. And the idea came from one, that I like to be doing, and second, from the book 52 Weeks of Accessories that I recently bought, and I pre-ordered, and it came very soon after I pre-ordered it. It's still saying that it's going to be available February 16th on their website, on the Land Publishing website. And this book, when I saw it, I immediately thought, this is the one that I'm going to be using and using and using, because there are plenty of ideas for accessories that I can match with my sweaters, with the sweaters or vest or something that I need. So the two ideas behind this little knit-along that a lot of people have said were ready to follow were one, I like to doing that, and I'm used to buying more yarn than I need for a project, and two, that book came up in my feed sometime at the beginning of January, and I thought it over, I talked to you, and I have now, I will link down below. I did link in the previous video, but I linked it after the video went up because I was a bit on a rush and a bit tight on time. I link the Ravelry group I have set up and the two threads that I have started in the forum for this group. One thread where you can chat about any project you are undergoing within that knit-along or make-along, and another thread just for the finished objects. So I will pull people from the finished object thread for a price at the end of August or beginning of September, because I think that the knit along should not be a pressure and should bring you joy and happiness and no stress. So it's going to be continuing up to the end of August, and I will arrange something at the beginning of September. I think also some people don't use Ravelry or don't use Instagram, so you can email me with pictures, and I will, if you are okay with that, place the pictures in the finished object thread so that everyone can see it and you are listed somewhere. And also, I would prefer people be from this channel and subscribe to my channel, but I don't think there is any way to really double cross the two requirements, being subscribed to my channel and somewhere posting a picture of your finished object. So there is also a hashtag on Instagram. I will link everything down below. And here is the little cowl I made to match my Huldra vest. I should remove my shawl. And this little cowl, I made it with, I still have some leftovers. I made it with the knitted and held double, the same way. It's fisherman's ribs, so it's very easy. You knit all the knits, you knit it in the stitch down below. And I made a little decreases on the side so that you can see it here, so that it sits on the shoulders and it goes a bit deeper in the front without being all bunched up in your around your neck. And if I wear it, I think, of course, it matches the Huldra vest because it's the same yarn. Thinking of it and wearing it, I should have made the same type of, and I have yarn everywhere. I should have made it the same type of rib that I have made here. That is slip ribs. You slip the knits with the yarn in the back, and when you are going on the other side, you purl them. And if you knit in the round, you slip one round and you knit one round. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I wanted to have some experiment with knitted and held double. So I used it double. I think it shows that the fabric is thicker. So I'm not sure it does match that well my Huldra vest. But anyway, that's the idea. So you live and learn, and I may make another one. But this one is extremely warm, so I can wear it. So I measured as I was knitting. I can wear it that way, very bunched up in my neck, or I can turn it in for just a regular turtleneck. I can tuck it in also in front and back for the cowl not to be moving at all, and it just goes that way. I guess I prefer when I turn it inside. I usually do that with all of my sweater cowls, but I guess you can also turn it from the outside. And it just sits very well on your neck, and without being too bunched up because of the two notches that are on the shoulders. It's just perfect. I love it. I've worn it quite a bit. I'm trying not to wear the Huldra vest too much, because if I was just listening to myself, this is all I would wear every day. I have several white shirts, not that many, because I don't like how the colors become not white any longer, and it's impossible sometimes to get rid of. So I don't have that many, but I have striped t-shirts and stuff like that. So I think I'm very happy with what I made, even if I maybe use some more of this vasen to make another cowl with knitted and single stranded and the slip stitch motif. But yes, that's my first finished object. I knit it in 5 days, 6 days, something like that. And it's an entry for the MatchyKal. Okay, next, the one that everyone has been waiting for. I'm kidding. It's finished. I finished it last night. I haven't blocked it, so it needs to be blocked. It's my Sorrel. My Sorrel gave me much of problems. Some people are new, so I will just quickly tell the story again if you haven't, if you don't know about it. This is my second Sorrel. I usually never knit the same pattern twice, so never say never and do it. So I'm knitting with the Romney yarn by Atelier Pure Laine by Frédéric, her fingering weight, so it smells like beautiful and clean sheeps. And she says it doesn't smell like that to her. She says that her yarn smells like the mill oil, but I smell the sheep. And so yarn from Normandy, and I'm fading with mohair from Australia that Rosemary sent me. And I have to block it and take pictures. I haven't been able to take pictures because the weather was very gloomy without light, and today there is some, at least some light, so I guess I can take pictures. With that lime green, I'm not sure I recall the name, I will write it down. That lime green mohair, silk mohair, and very fine lace silk mohair from Wagtail, from Australia. Good. And I had the idea to use all of the green, the lime green, and fade into leftover from another gift from another one of you from Switzerland, where it is Biche et Bûche, Le Petit Lamb's Wool, and Le Petit Silk Mohair in dark blue turquoise. So in my mind, I wanted to go from the light green to the dark green, and that's it. And this is why I started a few rows, one row at the color, so the cast-on row and one row at the color with the combination of both, because I wanted to repeat, to have the dark green at the bottom, but the dark green mohair, fading the mohair using the white or creamy white Romney yarn, natural color yarn from Atelier Pure Laine. So first, when you fade in the Sorrel, there is a fade recipe that tells you from that color to that color, each row. And this is the one I used for my previous Sorrel. So I had the same mohair all along, and I was fading different La Bien-Aimées merino single. And it worked perfectly. So when I started to fade with the dark mohair, very dark turquoise, blue turquoise mohair with the white yarn, something I hadn't expected, envisioned, I discovered when you use a dark mohair with a light yarn, or I guess light mohair with a dark yarn, you are marling stuff. Or maybe the light mohair will just lighten the color, but at least a dark mohair with a light yarn, you marl it. So I could see the stripes during the fade, and I did not like it at all. I knit past the separation for the sleeves, and I said no, I don't like that. So I ripped out and I started over, and I'm not sure why. I need to look why I had to start over a second time. I've forgotten. And the human mind is that way, that you forget the bad things and you remember the good things. Anyway, so I started to fade the lime green into the light cyan. So I used all the lime green here, but a few strands, and I marled it, or I fade it into the light cyan. So that was it. So I had to do some kind of yarn management because I had decided I was going to use all the green for the yoke, so that's fine, and up to the moment that I did not need any. So where is the back? The back is here. So I fade it and I made the short rows just after in the light cyan, so that was perfect. Thing is, I fade it and my ring got caught in one of the thing. I will have to look at that after that. I had to do some yarn management because I wanted to have the sleeves fade with the blue up to the moment that I would fade into the white. So I had 25 grams of white mohair. The green and the light cyan I had 50 grams, so a bit more. So I knew I had enough to go a bit deeper with the light cyan, but not with the white. So I had to calculate how much I was using per row to save enough so that the sleeves fade at the same point than the body. So I think I did it correctly. So I had enough white to knit a bit longer on the sleeves than on the body, and I repeated my cast off with the dark blue cyan at the tip of the sleeves. I did not want to repeat it at the bottom of the sweater because I think, for one of you said I should do it even if this is the white part at the bottom of the sleeve for cohesion. I agree with that. But I did not want a stark line at the bottom of my sweater. So even if it's not blocked, I will pause here, and I will wear it on so that you can see how it is. Okay, so there it is, into its all unblocked glory. I'm sorry for the people who listen to the audio podcast. You will have links in the description box so that you can go to my project once I have taken pictures and you will see how it is. So I'm quite happy with the fade. It doesn't like too much like as Windows XP. I was a bit afraid that the green and the light blue would look like, but Windows XP screen is on the other way around. That is the blue at the top and the green at the bottom. You see that my fade for the blue and the white are matching on the body and the sleeves. I made the sleeves a bit longer. I used all the white I could use. There is less than 1 meter left, so I could not go any longer. It's a bit too short for me, but I'll try to block them out, and if they don't block out, they will remain that way. And so here is in the back. I'm seeing a bit of the short row here, so I'll see if I can block that out or arrange that. So it's a very summery or spring colors sweater with a very wintry weight and feel and warmth. I made several mistakes. Some of them you are not going to be able to see them, but I do not recall. So this armhole here, yes, this is the one that is okay, I think. Is it the one that is okay? Or no, this armhole, yeah, this is the armhole that is not okay, because I was knitting upside down, or right side out, sorry. And of course, when I cut, so this is the one that is not okay, yes. When I did cast on the stitches for the underarms, I totally forgot that I was knitting inside out, so that you can knit instead of purling all the way around. And my first sorrel, I did purl all the way around because I don't mind purling. I'm a picker, thrower, I'm not sure how you say that. So I just move my finger that way. It doesn't matter anymore, or it doesn't matter at all to me. And I did not pick out the stitches the correct way for it not to show, but at least I'm maybe not moving my arms up that much. And I'm really impatient for it to be blocked, washed and blocked, to be wearing it, because if we are going towards a warmer period, maybe I won't be wearing it much this year. And in the same way, I think it's a perfect match between a bright and very cold, sunny winter day with spring colors and winter warmth. So there it is. As I am wearing it, I will wear the Huldra vest once again. Just after that, I'm not sure I can. It's good with a shirt and a shirt color that way. But I really wanted this lime green closer to my head. And also, as I have the little hood I made, all with the bûche, le petit lame spool and le petit silk mohair that one of you gave me, I think this sweater is gonna match perfectly my hood. And there it is. Here is my hood with the bûche yarn that one of you sent me. And this is the perfect example of what I was talking about, how I matched one sweater to an accessory I already had knitted. I'm a bit stretching out that idea because, of course, I knit the hood and I started the sweater before I had the idea for the knit-along. But you see, this is something that can happen. You have leftovers from an accessory and you place it in the collar on the sleeves or maybe in some color work of a sweater, and you matching your sweater to your accessory. Okay, it's a real fashion show here. I'm back into my Huldra and fleur shawl. So next it's gonna be my second or third finished object for today. And it's my Dusking from Kayomi Berging, and it's from Daruma 2022 collection by Amirisu. So I said it's finished. You see needles on the sleeves. It's finished basically because I blocked it. And really the ladders that were on my sleeve were when I was knitting with one strand of silk mohair with big needles. The ladders did not disappear, and I used another technique. I talk about it in a previous video. So I decided last night, after I had finished my Sorrel, I said, okay, I'm not gonna be living with these ladders. I ripped out. Sorry, it was all tangled up. I had to detangle, and I think I should rip out one additional row because you have a bit of, or maybe two additional rows. Onyx is on the table because I have still a bit of a ladder here. So I need maybe to rip out a couple more rows. So I retrieve all of my stitches and I said I'm gonna be finishing it today. So I still call it finished even though I have to work a bit on the sleeves, but it's something I know how to do now. So the one thing is, first it's blocked, and second, and this is why I'm not wearing it today, because I still have my stitches on the needles. I got little buttons and I really tried to sew the buttons on the neck opening and make a buttonhole. I usually don't knit buttonhole. I force and pull on stitches to make a hole, to place a button. And the little button with a buttonhole, that did not work at all for me. So I sewed the two pieces together and I sewed the buttons on top of it so that you still have the keyhole effect. It can be opened. I can place my head in the opening, so that's not a problem. And that way it has the look of the sweater from the book, You see, there is the keyhole here. I'm quite sorry because it's all reversed, so I have to think of it when I'm showing it to you. So you have the keyhole and you can see your underwear, undergarment or something. And I just sewn the little buttons. These are little plastic buttons. I did not want to get mother of pearls, endangered species, and you know that. But these are plastic buttons and there are not many alternatives. I tried a lot of things and I finally settled on these little pinkish buttons. So that's fine. It's all blocked. So I knit with yarn mohair, silk lace mohair from Poitou, La Ferme de la Croche-Cœur, in this pink again. So it's once again a pink episode. In this pink that I bought because it's the only color she had a sweater quantity of. And when I started to knit, I was quite afraid I would run out. So I bought another 3 balls. And I think I could have done it without the 3 balls. I bought the 3 last balls from the same dye lot so that I can knit without questions. And I think I could have gone without the balls, but I think I would have been very, very close to maybe running out and losing at yarn chicken. And I don't like to do this. And what I liked about the sweater is you start with 4 strands, so that's an expensive sweater. 4 strands, then you move to 3 strands, then you move to 2 strands, then you move to 1 strand of mohair, both on the sleeves and on the sweater itself, on the body. So before I ripped out to make the second sleeve again, the last one, I tried it on, and I think I will have to try on how to wear it different ways with undergarments. So I have lacy little tops and stuff like that can go underneath. And if you want to knit the dusking, please do. It's a very beautiful pattern. It's well written and everything. No problem. Just be aware that about your midsection down to the sweater, it will be see-through. And if you're not comfortable with that section, the way I am, you will have to think about ways of wearing it. So I have a very fitted skirt that I can pull up, and then maybe that will work that way. I will show it to you next time when I record, when I will have finished my sleeve. Will I block it again? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the knitted part is, but if it's matching my second sleeve, my other sleeve enough, I won't block it again. Okay, you've seen all of my finished objects. We are going to move to my one remaining active work in progress and what I have in mind to be casting on next. So my one active work in progress is my Olympe by Tricote Patou Camille. She's Camille Delahaye. The pattern is available in French and in English. And what started out as a little project to test out this beautiful, beautiful cashmere yarn I got at Atelier Pure Laine. I have 1 kilogram, 50% cashmere, 50% merino. Just to test it out and then to get acquainted with the yarn and see how it goes, turned into a humongous project. So Olympe is a scarf that should be knit at a much smaller size, because of course I did not use the right yarn and the right needle sizes. So you cast on and you start with a few bubbles, or these bubbles are made knitting back and forth and passing over the stitches you've knit back and forth into the same stitch, passing over the first one. So maybe some people I've heard Knits and Pieces talk about bubbles on one of their latest episodes, and they talk about these being nubs rather than bubbles. Doesn't matter. It's work. It's knitting work. So you make a pointy end by increasing on the sides, and then you go to a place where there are 8 bubbles per row. So it's a 4-row repeat, and then you repeat these 4 rows all along. So there are places with reverse stockinette, places with garter stitch and the bubbles and garter stitch on either side, and I made a selvage edge by slipping my first stitch on either side. Good. So I started to knit, and as I was knitting, when I went to the dimension Camille recommends, I thought it was not fitting with a scarf that would be that wide and that heavy, because I'm using the cashmere yarn held double. So I continued to knit, and I continued to knit, and I think I'm going to go up to the point where it is about 2 meters long, so that I can wrap it at least once around my head and tie it down. So, and I continued, and I'm catching up my yarn again here, and I continued, and I continued. It's going to be spectacular, because even if you fold it in half and place it around your neck, it's going to be spectacular. So I just calculated, for now I have 912 bubbles, and I'm not finished, so I'm going to be above 1,000 bubbles. So this scarf is going to be the 1,000 bubble tail, and I'm going to be seeing how the yarn behaves after blocking, because for now it's a bit heavy. I started sometime along the way, but not that far away from now, not for long ago, to think it would have been maybe better single-stranded, but single-stranded, the weight was much lower, much smaller weight than what the scarf recommends. So anyway, I held it double, and it's going to be a very heavy and sturdy scarf for the winter time, and I will see how this yarn behaves held double once it's blocked. I will make, I've already said that, once this one is finished, I will make another little scarf, like a little bandana scarf. There are many free patterns around, and even from the one I've been using is the one from Lamb & Kid, with a total different yarn weight, so you can adapt and do whatever you want for little pointy scarves, little bandanas. So I will make a little bandana with the yarn held single, so that I can calculate my gauge for plain stockinette. And after that, I want to make one of Sari Nordland's sweaters. I still haven't decided, but I need to finish that one, make the little scarf as a sample, and to calculate my gauge, and knit a matching sweater to this scarf and the little bandana. So you see a second example where, and this one will be an entry, I guess, where I'm knitting an accessory. I know I'm kind of cheating because it's to calculate my gauge, but I'm knitting an accessory to match a sweater, to knit a matching sweater just after that. So you see, another way to have an entry for the Matchy knit along or bake along. Okay, so now that you've seen my finished objects, the one I'm still working on, and my work in progress, I think once I've done all that, once I finish the dusking, I need to cast on projects for my sons. They have asked, my second son has asked for a beanie that would match the cowl I made for him several years ago for Christmas. So that's fine. I got yarn for that. Once again, I bought the yarn online from Fonty because I did not think I had enough left. I had only one ball and a bit of another one, a 50-gram ball. So I bought 3 balls. And I'll see if I can match the dye lots. They are a bit different, but not too much. So it's going to be okay. We'll see. So a hat for him. We have to decide on a hat pattern. I've seen a bit with him when he was here, but I need to gather a few pictures and ask him what he wants and see which one I'm going to be knitting for him. And also I have yarn to knit them socks. So I have 3 sons and I bought yarn because they asked for socks. So these are going to be my future cast-ons. Aside from things that I'm going to be casting on for myself, and I'm going to stop here because Onyx is on the table and he has big claws. I rescued him from the street and he's not controlling his claws the way a little cat has been raised by his mother, and I don't want him to be making biscuits on my projects. So okay, everything is back safe in its place. So my next cast-ons are going to be the beanie first. I think I can whip that quite quickly in a week or maybe less than a week or 2 weeks. And then go to casting on the socks. So I also have to decide for a sock pattern. The knitting group in Atelier Pure Laine, so they see each other quite frequently, but I can't go every time because I can go there only on the weekends. This is a 2-hour drive, 2 hours drive, one way for me. So it's kind of far away. It's 4-hour drive for the day. So I can go only during the Saturday. And I said, I will come back at a later date when the weather is better and I can drive that many hours. So when I asked them for yarn recommendation, they recommended Lang yarn, the Yawol yarn from Lang. So I have yarn and they gave me many patterns to be testing or using and the ones that they are liking. So I need to sort that out and I need to go through all of these and all of the patterns I already have and decide on which pattern I'm going to be settling. Toe up, cuff down, which type of heel. There are so many options. I'm kind of lost with all of that. So anyway, I need to sit down and think about that. So these are going to be my next project. Finishing up the Olympe scarf, casting on the little bandana to check my gauge, and casting on the bigger sweater by Sari Nordland. So okay, so that's it for today. I'm going to be moving into my personal life updates. And if you are absolutely not interested into that, you are more than welcome to stop here. In the meantime, I hope I will see you in my next video. I hope that your knitting is bringing you joy and happiness, and please take care of yourself. Okay, life updates. First, my lips. You may recall I had many problems. I still have many problems with my lips. It started when the weather was very dry and cold in France. And I was thinking, well, it's okay, it's the cold and dry weather, it's the heater in my house and wherever I work and everything. No problem. Okay, no problem. Thing is, the weather is not dry and cold any longer. It's still cold, but it's rather damp and kind of humid. Today we have sun, and I kind of try to choose the sunny days to be recording, but we've had rain for the whole weekend. We've had a lot of wind and it was cold. And usually during the Sunday morning, I go walk on the seaside, and I did not even go yesterday. It was yesterday. We're on a Monday when I'm filming this. I could not even go because it was too windy and too rainy. So a mild, a bit colder, windy weather, lots of humidity. So when the dry weather stopped and when the cold weather and snow was gone and all of that stopped, my lips still were very chapped and very painful. At some point last week, after I recorded, I'm teaching some mornings very early in the morning. I was at 7 o'clock waiting for the bus, and it was so painful. I had the feeling that I had sandpaper's lips rubbed against sand. Very painful. My lips were very swollen, very red, and very painful. So I said, okay, I can't stand it any longer. So I took an appointment we have an application for taking appointments with my medical doctor. So I matched his availabilities and I matched with my own availabilities, and I went Friday late at night, 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. Okay, so to him, it's not regular chapped lips because of the cold. To him, it's not an allergy. And what he's guessing, and we are trying a treatment for now, it's that it's some kind of fungus infection. Okay, so there is a cream that I'm putting on. Problem is that cream makes my lips even drier than they already are. So I try to place some lip balm on them, and I would like to thank Lisa. I'm gonna leave her channel down below. She doesn't need my nudge at all because she has a lot of subscribers. Lisa is Ansu-on, and she is from Canada and living in Spain right now. And she had, if you're interested, please go check her channel. She has a very interesting project that is to buy used sweaters that you can unravel the yarn from, because you can reclaim the yarn, and luxury sweaters from luxury yarn that you can buy for a few euros. I think I haven't watched all of the videos, but what I know of reclaiming yarn from a used sweater, aside from all the treatment and everything that you have to do to make sure you're not taking bugs into your home, is to make sure that it has been knit in with only one strand of yarn, because some commercial sweaters, they need big quantities, large quantities of yarn, and they cut and sew the sweater parts. So, and that way you have only one strand per row. So you need to be sure that when you unravel, you have a whole ball of yarn for each piece. And then she's knitting cashmere sweaters from used cashmere made or cashmere thrifted sweaters that she's reclaimed the yarn from. Beautiful idea, beautiful project. So please go have a listen and a look about what she's doing, because I think it's very interesting. So she recommended Dr Hauschka lip care stick. Yes, I have the lip care stick and I have the little pot. So I did not use them before I went to see my medical doctor because I did not know what it was. So I'm using them, trying not to contaminate the pot or the stick, to moisturize the lips, because the treatment is making my lips so dry, it's very painful. So I already have dry skin and dry lips, so okay, we'll see. So you can see my lips are much better looking than during the latest video. He said 3 to 5 days for me to see an improvement. So it's been 3 days now. I see an improvement. They are not as swollen and everything, but the places on either side of the mouth and on top of the lips are still a bit the same. So I'll see, I'll wait. He said you have a treatment for 2 weeks, and if it doesn't go away after 2 weeks, you come back. So I'll have to see, because he was quite surprised I did not have any yeast infection inside of my mouth or anywhere else on my body. So he said it's not classical case, but why not? And I use the bus, public transportations. I teach at the university. I used the computer room where I use keyboards that have been used by other teachers previously, and I help students. So I could have caught that anywhere. So that's not the problem about where did I catch that. It's more how it's going to be treated. And if it's not working, and if he still thinks it's a yeast infection, there are some oral pills and stuff like that I can take. We'll see. So that part is taken care of, and I'm a bit less anxious about it, even though they are still painful and raw. Okay, and I haven't been giving you any recent news about my hips or my mother. So we're going to start with my mother. It's a statu quo. Not worse, not better. So one good thing is after Christmas, she stopped using a car. She's using some kind of a taxi service that the city has in place. There are in many different places in France. The city has a social service. One of their goals is to take care of families, young children, and offer facility for during the vacation and after school and stuff like that. The other service is also to help people find jobs and stuff, and also to help elderly people stay at home. That's the goal. So they are using public money, and also the older people pay part of it according to their own income for many services. And it goes from people coming to clean the house to people going with you to help with grocery shopping, to driving you around, and also to go to some places once a week, and some kind of medical care also and stuff like that. So she agreed on not using her car any longer. So she uses the taxi service. It's called taxi, but it's not the regular taxi you can call and they come. It's a special service, so she's paying very little because her income is very low. So she's not been using her car since after Christmas, when the service was in place, and what a relief. She also has someone coming once a week to go with her grocery shopping and having an eye on what's in her fridge, because I had seen many expired things. So the lady who came reported that she had to clean her fridge a lot, because there were many, once again, expired things, even though I had been throwing away everything when I was there for Christmas or after Christmas when I drove her back. And this service at some point can also deliver meals to her for the lunch and the dinner time. So she doesn't have to cook and doesn't have to go grocery shopping and still be at home. So that's the whole plan for her for now. She still has all of her memory problems, and I still have to call her every morning and every night to check on her and see what her day is going to be and how her day went, and if she has done everything she has to do that I know of. Anyway, she still needs a lot of attention, a lot of long distance help for myself, and she has local people I'm talking with a lot who also take care of her. So all of that is a bit of on a status quo point. Not worse, not better. Next step is going to be to sell her car, because if she's not going to be using it any longer, no need for her to keep the car. Okay, as far as my hip, I have a hip that is in a very, very, very bad shape, and a knee that is close to not being in a very good shape either. And so I went to see a surgeon once again. Some people have been joining the channel not long ago, so you may not know. I went to see a surgeon to have a hip replacement after I talked with my own medical doctor and we had all the investigation made. He had me make a couple more imagery investigations. I'm not sure it was MRI or scanner or something. Anyway, he told me that my hip needs to be replaced. And just before, in November, I had a knee injection because he said, it's a shot in the dark. Your knee is hurting you, and it usually is pain that is a projection from the hip pain. So we need to rule that out. And he was very surprised it worked because my knee has been quite quiet since then. It's kind of waking up now because maybe the injection is wearing out. And so he said, okay, we are not going to be replacing your hip if the knee injection works and you feel better and feel less pain, a bit less of a pain. The state right now is my knee is waking up a bit and my hip is much more painful. I've been going to physiological therapy twice a week. And with her, it's a her, sometimes she hurts me to the point where I have bruises and I want to cry. But she goes up to that point. And what I know is the day after, and maybe sometimes 48 hours after, my hip pain is gone. The hip pain linked to the muscles, and I just had to look because I did not know I did not recall the word in English, the tendons. So it's that part above the muscle that attach the muscle to the articulation, to the bones. And all of that, and you also have little strings that are not from the muscle that keep the articulation cohesion. All of that is extremely inflammatory because of the pain and the arthritis. And all of that hurts a lot. They are tensed. My muscles are cramped up very tight. So she has to loosen that up. And when she does, for a couple days, 1 day or 2 days after that, I feel much of a relief. I feel now the true hip bone pain, I think, aside from all of that pain, noisy pain that is not from the hip itself, but from all the joints and from all the muscles and the tendons around it. So when I saw my doctor a couple days ago for my lips, I asked him and I said, it's an everyday pain. It's not the 10 level pain that the surgeon said, you come back when you've been in pain, level 10 for a month. So I had already told him I won't wait for a month. Maybe I'm waiting for a couple of weeks, but I'm not waiting for a month before I call you. And you better see me a week after I have called you. So the secretary said, just give me a call, I will arrange. But anyway, my medical doctor said, if you are feeling pain every day, and it's part of your everyday life, and it's impairing things, and there are things you can do any longer, and there are things I can't do any longer, you should go back and see him and tell him, time out, we are going for it. So it's a big decision. He said anyway that he would not do both hips at the same time because my other hip is also not in a good shape, in a shape that is a little bit better than my right hip. But once again, that's on me to make the appointment and decide when I go back to see him. I have a couple exams to be doing before I get to see him. He said, okay, here is your prescription. Before you come back to see me, you have to do that. So I will do the exams and have an appointment with him. When, I don't know. It's a difficult decision because I'm much afraid of the pain. it's a whole organization that is going on. It's 3 months out of work. So it's not an easy decision. So that is going in the back of my mind, and that is stressing me out a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. And if you experiment such kind of stressful time, I really do hope that your knitting is bringing you joy, happiness, and relief, and that you can concentrate on your knitting. And for the time you are knitting, you're not having all these back thoughts that are in front of your mind, because either you are doing easy knitting, watching a series or YouTube, watching my videos, for example, or you are knitting a pattern that requires your attention and you are focusing on the pattern and to not make mistakes and follow everything, the charts or whatever. And that also places your mind elsewhere than what is going on. And I'm not saying that we should push aside all of our difficulties and stuff, not at all. But sometimes, for a little bit each day, placing joy and happiness into our knitting is bringing us much joy and relief, because for that period of time, you are working on your own happiness and mindful knitting, and if everything is good for you into your life, maybe you can do it thinking of other people and place joy and happiness in your little stitches for other people. In the meantime, I'm sending all of my merry little stitches over to you. Please take good care of yourself. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.